Good evening. Okay, today we're going to be covering part 2 of Shavuot Matan Torah. Just to recap yesterday's lesson on part 1, Hashem told Moshe to speak first to the women, as their role is very important and they need a different approach than the men. In part 2, we learned that Hashem says to Moshe, on the third day, I will come. On the third day, that's when Hashem spoke to Moshe. I will come to you, Be'av E'anan. Be'av E'anan, it means in a thick cloud. So the people will hear me speaking to you. Hashem is talking here about the Aseret Dibrot. Hashem is going to say them. He's saying, I'm speaking to you, but it's really to Bnei Yisrael. And that the only way people will be able to hear me, to hear Hashem, is through a thick cloud. Then people, why was it necessary for people to hear Hashem? Then people will believe in Moshe as a Navi, as a prophet, and will also believe all the Nevi'im, all the prophets that will come along later on. As we learn in history, there were hundreds and hundreds of, if not thousands of Nevi'im. They will not have any doubts about your Nevoah, about your prophecy, because they would have seen and heard with their own eyes and ears. They would have seen, they would have heard me speaking. So that impression won't just go away. So why did Hashem say that the people will believe in Moshe? Did they not believe in Moshe until now? So Hashem was making a point. People believe in you, Moshe, because of all the nisim that they witnessed. Yetziat Mitzrayim, the going out of Mitzrayim, leaving Mitzrayim, the Kiryat Yamsuf, the splitting of the sea, the man. But for the Torah, that is something very special and something that just to hear from you is not enough. For that, I wish to give it to them myself. I wish them to listen to me. It's not enough that they believe in you, in your words, Moshe. For this, I want them to hear with their own ears and see with their own eyes that I am speaking to you. So if later on, and this is the reason why it was so important for Hashem that Bnei Yisrael should listen to him. If later on, someone comes along, and history has shown, yes, that there were many people who came along and performs nisim, miracles, and tell them to abandon the Torah, to do avodah zarah, not to keep Shabbat, to do all kinds of things. And the Torah that I gave on Har Sinai, and this person will tell them to follow them, right? To follow him, and to follow a different religion. They will not believe. They will not believe in that person. This deep experience that the fact that they were all brought together, those 5 or 6 million people, and much more, they came together, stood by the foot of the mountain, and they heard Hashem speak. That impression, that experience was so deep, it never left them. They all became Nevi'im at the time of Matan Torah. They all heard Hashem. And as they were all able to hear Hashem and survive, which is something that they believed was not possible. Bnei Yisrael thought that how can a person speak to Hashem? It can't be. And how a person can survive when Hashem speaks to them. So Hashem wanted to show them, yes, You yourself, you're going to hear me. You're all going to become Nevi'im. By Matan Torah, when I'm giving you the Torah, you're going to hear me and you will survive. Bnei Yisrael then, they wanted two things. Number one, they wanted to have the zechut, to be worthy of experiencing the Shekhinah, the divine presence. They wanted to feel that presence. Number two, they wanted to hear the Aseret Dibrot, the 10 Commandments, from Hashem himself. They also, it wasn't just Hashem wanted them to hear, but they too wanted to hear it. As an answer to Bnei Yisrael's request, Hashem told Moshe, tell them to sanctify themselves, kadosh, to make themselves kadosh, to make themselves holy. Today and tomorrow, for 2 days, they must dip themselves in the mikveh and wash their clothing to be ready for the third day, which is going to be Vav Nisan, Vav Sivan, the 6th of Sivan, as I will come down in a thick cloud to speak to them and give them the 10 Commandments. Now, Hashem is telling them to go into a mikveh. They're in the midbar. Where do they have a mikveh from? All right. So the Midrash tells us, each shevet had its own spot where to be. They were, the Bnei Yisrael were in a formation of groups of three shevatim, three tribes, and they were, so it like in a square. So there were 3 tribes in the north, three tribes in the south, 3 tribes in the east, and 3 in the west. So it was like a box. And later on, when they built the Mishkan was in the middle, in the center. And Bnei Yisrael were like behind the Mishkan. And Chachamim explained to us that there were so many miracles that happened in the desert. Between each tribe, there were streams of water that, let's say someone from Shevet Dan wanted to go to Shevet Binyamin, so all they had to do was really just like go on a small boat and travel. Yeah, sail in that small boat to Shevet Dan. So there was the water for dipping in the mikveh. So Hashem said, you want the Torah, but you have to be ready for it. And they're really getting ready. They really did. They spent the whole days washing themselves, washing their clothing, listening to the elders, to the Zekenim, who were explaining them a certain very important basic concept of Yahadut, of Judaism. And they really, every day they felt that they were getting on a higher level of spirituality. Then Hashem says, they have made every effort to receive the Torah in absolute purity. Hashem says, build a fence, Hashem said to Moshe, around the mountain, but the fence cannot be close to the mountain, has to be about half a mile away from the mountain. No one will be allowed to go up the mountain, not even touch the mountain. And whoever will go up or touch the mountain will die. So we're going to stop here for today. Be'ezrat Hashem, tomorrow we'll do part 3 of Matan Torah and our preparation for Shavuot. And may Hashem help us also to prepare ourselves for Shavuot, so that we too can really, again, receive, as Chachamim teach us, that when something happens in a day, so every year, that those same miracles or those good things that happen on that day, that will happen again. So Be'ezrat Hashem, let's hope that Hashem will again be close to us, and we can get, so that we too can get close to Hashem, and may Hashem bless us and give us a beautiful Yom Tov of spirituality, Yom Tov that we can really say Tehillim, learn, and grow from this Yom Tov. And He should bless us, Be'ezrat Hashem, that Hashem should bless us with bracha, hatzlacha, bri'ut, parnasa, simcha, zivugim, nachat, and all the very best.